Fran, you ever have any quilting accidents?
Did I? No, but I do know that there are people who have sewed into their finger. I know.
Ooh.
I learned to sew on a treadle machine, and that you had to be really careful with
Is that the foot pedal one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Those things are powerful.
I was the last person in class every time, and because the class just before it was far away, and I would get there, and the one machine that nobody wanted was the treadle machine. So that's where I learned to sew.
Okay.
So I spent 4 years on that treadle machine. I got really good at that, but I never got hurt. But there were people that did get hurt. If they
You ever saw it? Like you've been on the front lines when you saw someone just sew right into their hands?
Ugh.
Yes. Worse than that is the paper cutter at school. Cutting paper. One morning I was there early and I was making, we used to have to make copy by pressing it down and then peeling it off kind of thing. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it's terrible. But I was doing that, and all of a sudden somebody screamed, and it was the art teacher, and she had been cutting something for the art class. She had cut her finger off.
Ooh.
Right,
Cut it off?
Right, no, not the whole thing. Right there.
Right past
Right
the
there.
knuckle.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's clean cut.
Yep. It was pretty scary stuff.
Did she lose the whole, like that whole bit, or were they able to?
Oh, they were able to put ice on it, and they took her away to the hospital. But I still remember that. I'll never forget seeing the part of the finger there. That's what happens. I know. These are all.
I've heard stories of people like in like workshops and stuff, like knocking off a finger, like on a bandsaw. I think almost every guy like I've talked to in like like woodworking industry and like set stuff, it's like someone's missing like a tip of a finger or something like that. Right.
And you just can go on. You just learn how to work around it.
Yeah.
Are we on?
Yeah, we are rolling. Yeah, we are. We just never did. We never did. We never did an intro. I saw you were like not super conscious about the mic, but I was like, I don't know. It felt good. We can cut it in. So you want to start show, Kev?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we can either leave it in, but if not, hello everyone. Welcome to Tea with Fran. Fran, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
That's good. Thank you for that interesting story about cutting a finger off. That was fun to start the conversation. Justin, how are you?
Doing good. Doing good. Can't complain.
Wonderful. Well, it's been a crazy few weeks, a little bit. Justin, you were away. You had a good trip out west.
I would.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because we shot 2 episodes. Yeah. So I came. Yeah, back from Vegas.
Oh.
And
does it have to stay in Vegas?
You know what's funny? I mean, well, here's the best thing about Vegas. You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
Please talk about it. I'm not going.
But I mean, for me, this was a very mellow trip. I've had so many trips where it's been like nonstop. You know, you're out every night. I'm like, this one, I'm like, I just want to go out here. You know, do some work, you know, go out to like one nice dinner, meet with some clients, go out one night. That's it. And I stuck to it, man.
You think that should become like a thing? It's like, well, you know what they say, what happens in Cincinnati stays in Cincinnati. Just
but
using that for anywhere you go.
Yeah.
Well, I was also away.
Yes.
Colorado. Yes. Got to see a bunch of friends, went to 2 wonderful concerts at Red Rocks Amphitheater. It was magical, as the lead singer says. It was the birth canal, and I feel reborn.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Good weather. Good weather out there.
The weather was good. It was warm. It was a little drizzly the first night of the night 1 for the concerts, but it held off for the most part, and it was great. Justin, you got to come with us.
Yeah. I do like how you describe it as a birth canal, because the thing is like, wow, like, but at the same time, it's like, ew, dude, like, I don't want to stand in a room when someone's going through labor.
You don't want to remember that.
No, yeah.
There was 9,000 of us in this birth canal.
So I guess it's a very memorable moment because, you know, I guess giving birth to a child is a very memorable moment.
Yes.
So this is a very memorable concert. Is what you're getting at.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Now I get to connect.
Yeah.
Are they dancing?
Yeah. A lot of dancing. It was great fun, Fran.
I bet it was.
So glad I was able to go. And I was telling someone I work with, you know, I think about, you know, how much it costs to go and then the price of the tickets. Then you got to buy food and everything else when you're out there. It's never not been worth it for me.
Oh, that's
every time I come back, it was like it was worth every penny.
That's wonderful.
It was so good.
Good.
So,
well, while you guys were doing that, I had the teddy bears picnic.
ooh.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You had good weather for it?
It was the perfect day, perfect weather. 2 great people and their little girls, 5
Wonderful.
little girls. Yep. And all the little girls got fairy hair. And if you see something funny in my hair, I got fairy hair in my hair too. And I can't get it out until I get Alyssa to take it out. It's put in with a little bead. Yeah. So I can't, I've washed my hair, but it won't come out.
It's in there. It's cool. It reminds me of like when people go to like the Jersey Shore, they come back with like the one cornrow, you know what I mean? Like that, something like that. So you have it's like a little style, little flair.
Yeah.
And it's good because it's blue and you're wearing all blue and white.
Yeah.
Always vibrant.
You're styling today.
It was a wonderful day. I just loved it. I've been thinking about it, and I hope those little girls will be ready for another one next summer.
Awesome.
That's great.
Good.
And all the teddy bears were happy as well?
Oh, the teddy bears all met each other? Good times. Really good times.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's so good. Teddy bear picnic. Well, sounds like we've all been busy and having fun. Back to the work here at the podcast. And
yes.
I know Justin said he's been kind of looking forward to this topic for a little bit.
Mainly because I don't know. I never know. Half the time I'm like, I don't know the topic till I come here. Like as much as we go over, I'm like, yeah. And then, but this one I remember we talked about a couple weeks ago. We're like, we were coming up with ideas and you throw it out like the sense of community. I'm like, that's a good one. Like that one I'm looking forward to. It hit me then and I really haven't thought about them, but I know like that's where it's going to be a good one between all of us.
When Justin and I were getting ready to come over here, he actually said something. I wrote it down. So we're talking about community and he said, sense of community is a sense of the self. And I thought that was pretty profound.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Because you have to know yourself and what you're contributing to the community to make the community at large better.
Oh, that's good.
That, and I think it ties into you are the company you keep. Mm-hmm. Your company is your community. And if you keep good company, keep good community, that's who you are.
Right. I know there are a lot of people that are real loners in the world. They like to be alone. Mm-hmm. And it's coming from their being... well, I don't want to say just shy, but they're not sure who they are. So they're afraid to expose themselves to others.
Yeah.
It's very sad because they're missing out on so much joy and love.
Yeah, they really, I wrote down some Webster Dictionary terms for community.
All right. Let me hear
a unified body of individuals.
Okay.
So I just wanted to commemorate that we are the Fran community.
Yeah. This is our own squad. This is our clique. You know what I mean?
All our listeners are part of this community. The folks that write in Fran mail, the folks that listen, that share the message that this podcast carries.
That's right.
We're a great community.
Because we're all so different too, but we all offer, something for each other. So it's a cool blend. Yeah, it really is. It's been good. We're on episode 17.
But we're supposed to be different. Remember, we all have our own journeys. We all came at the right time. Mm-hmm. And the one thing we have to do is be truly, purely ourselves.
Yeah. If folks listening don't know that message by now, write it down. Stick it to your forehead. Yeah.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
And then 2 more definitions off Webster was a social state or condition.
Okay.
That sense of community that you were speaking of, and then society at large. So to me, that's all the communities
communicating as one. Yeah,
one giant community. But.
And we should say the human family.
Yeah. What about interstellar community?
All right.
We're all over the place. We started from this table.
Well, I'm just saying that's where it's going because we got to figure it out down here. We know you have to know yourself. You have to be able to mesh with others well, and that community has to be able to mesh with other communities well. Then what's the end goal? I don't know.
Well, at night I go out to say goodnight to the moon, and I also say hello out there. I know we're not alone.
What sign is the moon? Like, how there's the horoscopes? What sign is like the moon where it's like
I'm not sure.
Isn't there one where it's like, isn't there one that's like related to the moon?
Like astrology?
Astrology, yeah.
I don't know.
I'm a Gemini. I don't believe in that stuff.
No, I'm a Capricorn. But there was
What is a Capricorn? Have you ever seen a Capricorn?
Have I ever seen a Capricorn? Aren't they?
Capricorn, I think it's candy corn.
No, I think it's a goat.
It's a goat. Okay.
Yes. That works very hard to get up the hill, but always is going up the hill.
Yeah, I'm Aries, but then I know there's a whole isn't there like a Chinese one or whatever? And I'm like a rat. So it's like, cool, I'm a rat.
I'm a tiger.
Oh, see, that's cool. You're going to tiger.
Well, we
I
were
don't
born
know
the
how that
same year,
works.
so does that mean I was born the year of the rat too?
Yeah, probably.
Oh.
I think I don't know. How it
Yeah,
works.
but rats are great animals. They just don't have long lives, but they're intelligent. And
They are intelligent.
They are. And they make good pets if people aren't afraid of them. And they shouldn't be because they are good pets.
Well, I mean, you go to the New York rats; those big things. Those
Fran, there
they're
were
up to
people-
no good. They're smart, but they got their own. They're all their own little.
There's
Those are
people
the
going on.
swarming at the
Yeah,
thought of what
yeah,
you
yeah.
just said, Fran.
No, that's different.
Living in sewers.
No, well, I've never had a pet rat, but I have had other little furry creatures, right? A little hamster named Radar, who ran forever for about 3 years.
That's all he did was run.
He just
And one day
ran.
he just didn't run anymore.
He didn't run anymore.
Ran himself to
Yeah,
the great
ran his little wheel
to the great
Yeah.
great wheel in the sky.
the beyond.
Well, Fran, before we hop into how there's lonely people out there, can you just speak to the importance of community as a whole and that importance of feeling like you belong? And Justin, of course, chime in because it is important, right?
Oh, it's terribly important. But you have to remember how it grows. It really grows with you and your immediate family. We moved around a lot, and we always said we were potted plants. We always had our roots with us. So we could move, and we could grow wherever we were. So that's the first community. And really staying in touch. I know that brothers and sisters sometimes get so busy with their lives, or either they have a disagreement over something silly, and then they don't stay as close over that until that's resolved. But that's your first community. And then after that, it's the people that, like your friends, that you get together on a regular basis. And then after family and friends, then it's really where you are in the world. Okay, so anything that you can do in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
For instance, I have a wonderful neighbor who loves to grow things. He really he has a green thumb, has the most beautiful vegetables, and he gives me these from his garden, and I bake cookies for him. And so he's part of my community that I really know. But I mean, everyone around me is. And then you start to think of yourself as being even part of the community of your state or your county. And then because we are citizens of our planet, we need to care about what happens on our little spaceship. In fact, what is the end of our community?
I think the spaceship's going to be fine. I think the people aren't going to be. That's what I think. I think the spaceship will eventually, do what it has to do to
to get rid of
us. Yeah.
To get rid of, yeah. We're
and then it'll just, it'll have a lot of healing and rebuilding to do. But I think,
well,
planets live longer than us.
When you are in your
stars, all that.
community, you have to think about things how you live, how you affect others. I mean, it could be like having really bright lights around your house and not realizing that the person like next door is looking at the stars. You just have to be more aware. You have to really know that
You're talking about a curfew for lights off. Everyone go out. Let's appreciate the sky.
Let's have time.
Be mindful of one another.
Mindful. And also some people work from their homes, but if it makes a lot of noise or whatever, you need to be aware of that. What time do you start doing it? Yeah. What time do you finish doing it? Mm-hmm. So there are quiet times, and that you're respectful for each other. We don't teach civility in schools. We expect that to come from homes.
Yeah.
To be really civil, treat other people the way you want to be treated. That's an old rule, the golden rule.
That's right.
But people are not really using it now. And I don't understand it unless it's because they spend most of their life with a computer, a telephone, something that doesn't care. Whether you stop listening or stop helping or whatever, you don't get the response that you get from a human being.
Yeah, I think my initial reaction to that is we've become more selfish because of the phones. We've lost most people have lost patience. We're so used to everything instantly. I want to see something and boom, it's on my phone. I want to talk to someone, boom, I can do it on my phone. But, when you step away from the phone, it's just you still want that instant gratification because like that's what your brain's getting wired to.
Yeah.
And it's not natural.
No, it's not. And I'm not sure that people are as healthy as they used to be. This is I don't think people.
I'm definitely sure people aren't as
well. I think
healthy
too, it's the amount of
ways.
like the stress level that's going on in everybody's life as well too.
Yeah,
like,
that's part
I
of
mean,
it.
everyone's got so much going on. I mean, some more than others, but still at the same time, it's like you still need to just take a break and just get away from like just everything. Just like chill out for like 30 minutes. Just you time, just get away. That's something we need to focus on.
How about sleep? As a matter of fact, you think with the dings that come on your phone, the little sounds that wake you up, or you look to see, do I have to do something at this time?
It's your community reaching out to you at all times.
Yes, and that they might need you. And if it is really important at that hour, you're going to get up and go do it. That's how it is. But community is what brings us joy and love and good times and precious memories. And it starts small and just keeps on going. It doesn't end.
And no, you know what? It really doesn't. It's crazy. You can like the web just grows. And like when you think about if you narrow it down, you can retrace everything from everybody you met, which is like a wild thought, that whole like growth of your network.
Yeah, the internet obviously is a huge place for community.
Yes,
I mean, good and bad. There's a community for everything on the internet. But it always fascinated me how it connected us globally and disconnected us locally. Because, you see folks just out in public, buses, trains, airports, wherever, and places where, face-to-face interaction was probably more common to a certain extent.
Right.
Now everyone is just locked on their phones. They make quiet eye contact with other people to make sure everyone's like, hey, we're all in our own little bubbles, leave us all alone. Where maybe, for people with social anxiety, that's good. But I think humans are obviously social creatures, and we're being social through an, inorganic fashion.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, every time I travel, man, like I remember people used to talk, people used to drink and have fun. Now it's like, obviously not. I'm not wearing, like, there's some people who wear masks. I get on the plane, I'm not wearing a mask anymore. As soon as I was lifted, I'm not wearing it. But it's just having that little bit of where where people aren't relying on their phone is nice. I noticed I saw other people actually communicate. I'm like, hey, there we go. We're back. We're getting back to it. We're getting back to it.
Yeah, you wonder who you're going to sit next to on the plane. Yes,
I've got some numbers off the plane before.
Oh, good.
Are they listening to the show? That's what you guys
probably
start
not.
doing. Start getting phone numbers. Start giving Tea with Fran out. Fran, you've moved obviously quite a bit. How many states?
9.
9 states. How have you and you and Dan? How would you guys immerse yourself in those new communities? Obviously, you guys find employment. That's one way to meet people and find out. But is there any other advice or techniques that you would do? Is it just going out to stores and shops and talking to locals to become a local yourself?
Yes. Well, for girls or women, you're going to the beauty shop. You get to know those people. You get to know the people in the grocery store. It's amazing. Your friends don't have to live next door to you. But if you can, it's nice to meet your neighbors.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to bake some cookies, knock on the door and say, we have moved in. I just wanted to say hi. This is our phone number. If you ever need anything, don't hesitate to call. I'm a good neighbor,
Yeah, and I thought, like you say, like salons, because I think back, like my mom used to own a hair salon, and the amount of gossip and the shit that was going on in town, that's where you go for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you'll find out everybody, and you'll find out a good chunk of information about a lot of people.
And you talk about meeting your neighbors. My brother married the girl next door.
That's right.
So you never know what could come of your neighbors.
Yeah, so I'm going to go knocking door to door looking for a wife. That's what I'm going to do.
Didn't try that once.
But that's kind of what we did. But really, because when you're a teacher, you're meeting parents. You just get out in the community. And you find yourself, and it could be your church. It can be, anything that you're interested in, the astronomy club, the hiking club. They're always
some sort of political rally. You might meet some people. You never know,
Exactly. So, no, we never had a problem meeting anyone. And that's because we were potted plants. We had our roots with us.
Yeah.
And we always felt everywhere we went, we were supposed to be there. And so we were going to make it as good as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's Justin, you have any, besides political rallies, advice you'd give to folks that are lonely?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I mean, here's what I'm going to do. I might plug some dates for shows, but here's the thing. Like, if you are sitting home, you're lonely, you like comedy, you go out to comedy clubs. You know, comedians, we want more people out there. We want more people going. It's been good. So
yeah, people
get out, go out to a movie. Forget about, I'm going to wait for it to get on Hulu or Amazon. It's like, how about you just go out?
Yes.
And just go to a movie.
And don't
I miss that.
Yeah, and don't hesitate to say hello to people that are in line with you.
Yeah.
You know, that people have stopped talking to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you know what's great is when you're there for something, right?
Yeah.
You're there for the same thing. So right away you're going to be seeing the same movie, right? There's some similar interest. Did you see the previous one? Whatever. You go to a show, it's like, oh, what other comedians have you seen? Have you been to this place before? You know, it's a very much like, that's like when you go to concerts, everyone's there for that guy. So
yeah, I mean, if you're like big into like Marvel or Harry Potter, whatever, like big things,
go dress up as Thor and run around. I don't care, but go do it with other people dressed up as Thor.
Yeah, you may feel lonely, but I mean, you're a part of a huge community, global community. People love that stuff. So
they do.
You're more connected probably than you realize.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of putting yourself out there to join them, and it's tough. I mean, it's not easy for folks to just go up and strike up conversations, especially if you weren't raised doing that. Someone I know very well is great at we go hiking and she says hello to everybody on the trail. I just let her do all the interactions, and I'll hop in if I have to, but some people it just comes more natural to them than others.
Exactly.
And then I got a question here. Signs you're in a good community.
People want to get into the community, right?
Oh, when people want to move.
They're knocking on the door.
Exactly.
Okay.
Signs that you are in. Well, yeah, that's interesting. So what attracted you to living over here in this area near Walnut Mountains or Walnut Ridge School? What would it be? Was it that you heard that the school was good?
Yeah. I'm just, I'm just trying to think.
What was the question?
Like, how do you know you're in a good community?
Community.
I think it's because also like the community, right? Like the community, you are a part. That is X amount of your time is dedicated to that, right? Like I have an obligation to hold up with you guys, like, and we communicate. We trust each other to know, hey, we're going to do this on this date.
Right.
Hey, we're going to put this out.
When he calls it an obligation,
I know obligation. Now it's like,
right?
Yeah.
I'm obligated to be here.
But that's your community, right? That's your obligation, But that's an obligation that I made, and you made. We all did.
Right.
So I think it's knowing that you're that, like you trust that other people are going to hold up their end and do what they're meant to do, that you're also going to benefit from, right? And as you do what you're meant to do, they're going to benefit. It's a very neutral. It's a balance.
Right.
A give and take. All right.
A give and take.
Yeah. Well, when we were looking for a place to build a house, we were looking at natural beauty. We loved that there was a beautiful pond with life there. Mm-hmm. We loved all the trees that were on here, and it seemed very peaceful, but it was also close to Walnut Ridge School, and we still had a son that would be going there. So, I mean, that was part of it. But everywhere we moved, sometimes you were moving in a hurry and you ended up being in an area where, you didn't feel that it was just right, but you can still make it better by bringing the people you like in. I told you once that, we used to have a cooking club. We got to know a lot of people by having that once a month. And we tried to keep it so that we had like 10 or 12, so they'd all fit around the table. And we would specialize in desserts or whatever, salads, and that was fun. And when we first moved here, at Christmas time, we opened up all our houses and we went from house to house. We used to go caroling here. We did all before you guys ever were born.
Yeah, no.
I don't
remember any Christmas carolers.
We did.
Yeah, I got a harmonica one year for Christmas. My cousin and I, when we were little, and we went around my grandparents' like neighborhood, door to door, singing like jingle bells on the harmonica, and we put a little tip jar down. One guy was like hammered, like this guy, like this dad. He was probably like mid-40s. He's like, when we were playing, he's like, oh, no way. He's like, hold on. He like got his whole family. He's like, all right, play. He gave us a $20 bill, which was awesome.
Wow.
We were, I don't know how old I was. Maybe like
25.
Yeah, it was like 3 years ago. That was probably like 11, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Probably 11, 12, 11, 13.
Do you still have the harmonica?
No. I wish I did, man.
I was gonna say bring it in.
Yeah.
All right. What do we think is the future of communities with the internet taking over more and more of our interactions?
It's still the same. It's still a web. It's still a network, and it's still people like.
Yeah.
It's the more like.
Do you see that communities are going to go mostly just digital, or do you think there's going to be some type of swing back to more in person?
I think at its core, you're always going to have a tight niche, but outside of that, it's going to be a lot of it's going to be,
A lot depends on the weather and how hot it gets. Because this summer was really tough for me. I couldn't be gardening because it was too hot. The humidity. And so if the planet continues to warm and it seems to be in trouble, then you're going to be inside. And if you are inside all the time, it's going to have to be digital.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a scary thought.
I know.
That's where you just got to build like a monster mansion where it's got like, tinted glass. You still have a swimming pool. It's like perfect temperature. It's got its own oxygen system. I don't know, like one of Elon Musk, Musk's guys, you got to get in with that crew and then use their pool.
Well, I don't know if you guys watch the History Channel, but I watch it a lot because I've always loved history. That's how I've always felt about learning how to live now, was to look back at how other people made it or failed. They're finding all these communities that were underground. Now, what made them go underground? And that's,
interesting.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we'll change the way we build our houses.
Yeah, or maybe
I don't know.
Yeah, they
Become
might
mole people.
I don't know.
I hope I'm not around for mole people, and I hope I'm long gone before mole people exist.
I got a feeling you will be.
But they are truly, and when they go into these underground cities, underneath, it's beautiful under there. I still don't know how they ever worked it out, though.
There were mole people. Like there was like, people say, oh, aliens helped build the pyramids. Who helped, dig out holes in canyons and in the desert?
They live? Yeah.
Mole people. That's what it came down to.
Well,
you think mole people dug out canyons in the desert?
Yes.
All right. Just want to
it's something that it's a conspiracy that recently is coming out.
Very recent.
Well, the only way that they could have survived is that they worked together as a community.
Yeah.
I think that's important to remember. That's going to keep us going.
So yeah, just kind of, I don't know if Justin, if you had anything you wanted to add on.
No, I just kind of I like where this is going.
Yeah, you like mole people? Yeah.
Funny thought, man.
Yeah. So Justin, what communities are you currently a part of? The comedy community?
No, you know what? Comedy community, very tight niche. I have a few comics that I talk to on a regular basis. One club, probably two clubs that I still go to actively. I'm busy with work and stuff, so I'm developing nurturing relationships with a few of my clients, and growing some accounts.
Are you in a woodworking community yet?
No. I got a guy who owns a sawmill, which is awesome. So I'm getting slabs, from him. As far as that goes, my uncle, he was always a carpenter, and him and I always, anytime we're together, we always, hang out and bullshit and
talk wood,
talk whatever, And so I pick his brain on, a few things. But no, I'm kind of utilizing all some old network, some old connections that I have. And I used to work for a video production company where we did all TV commercials. It's now it's not the new owner. Yes. I met I went over there, met the new guy running it. Right. Very creative guy. Worked in radio, pretty successful. And I'm in the process of producing a show
Yeah.
So like that's a big network of people. Like now I'm talking to like old cast and crew members and just kind of rekindling some stuff. And I can also like help him rebuild. He's got whole sets. Like he's got full, it's full green rooms. He's got full, like he's got doctor's offices. It's all within, it's almost like an IKEA of sets. It's a, production company. So he wants to redo some sets. So that's, something that kind of barter with him. Hey, I'll help you rebuild some of this, give me, I can rent it out for however long, what
community you're getting back into.
Yeah. It's a community that I've been a part of. And that, I maintain, that's where they say, don't burn bridges, this and that, like always keep a good, connection. Cause you never know when you might, if you might reach out to them and be like, hey, it's not me doing this anymore, but it's so-and-so, or, go through there and just use your web of people. And it just really like, it's crazy the amount of people like that I can like call on, rely on, and trust that I've developed over the past, really like, since 10 years since I moved to California. That
10 years.
Yeah, 10 years of just relationship building.
It went fast.
And Fran, what communities?
Mine,
off the top of your head,
there are so many at my age. It's the human family.
But it's great to hear that, like, you still talk to some of your old sorority sisters.
Oh my!
That's a community that you've been a part of for
since college, since I graduated.
A couple years, just a few, and
yes,
just a few.
Well, and you met my niece Kate from Chicago.
Yes.
I'm part of that community, that family.
A wonderful, wonderful community.
Yeah,
She was
right.
Yeah, I'm bummed I didn't get a chance to come over.
I
totally
know.
forgot because I got back and then I had to go. I was busy the next couple of days. I'm like, it's just not.
Well, she'll be back.
Awesome.
And you will get to meet her. She's just marvelous. We had a marvelous week. Really did. No, it seems like I'm at home on the planet. I've always, I had the Peace Club. And I just always think that way, that wherever you are, that is your community. I go over to Acme to the grocery store, and if I can help anybody there, or if I can smile and say hi to somebody there, how are you doing? I always do. Yeah. So that's, my day.
Do you feel like you're in the center of like your universe where you're very content and overall happy? When you look back, like that's... Yeah, you said yes?
Yes.
Awesome. I'd love to hear that.
Yes.
Just, crazy thing. Like 83 years, and you're very much,
you
know where you are, you know everything around you, 360 view. You're like, I'm happy, I'm content. I know what, I know what I have.
And I have been cleaning out desk drawers and things and sending letters to former students, friends from other states, and reaching back to say thank you for being a wonderful friend and things I'll always remember, that sort of thing.
Mine must have got lost in the mail.
Yes. I see you. I get to tell you.
I tease. No, I mean, I think now's a good time, of course, to mention the Army of Good.
Oh. I'm a part of the Army of Good.
You are a high-ranking officer
every day
in the Army of Good, for sure.
We try every day to do something good for someone other than our immediate family, if you can. Yeah. I was sending a condolence card this morning. A dear, dear friend from years ago passed away just a week ago. And I'm just thinking of her family. They're all gathering for her celebration of life. And she was just a bright light in Highland Lakes and this community. She did so much good everywhere she was. And I'll never forget her. So that's how my day started this morning.
Yeah, I think it's so in our human brains, because you see folks that it's like, wow, you keep, maybe if you pay attention to the paper, you see like the same name helping with this event, that event. You're like, some people are just so hardwired to be a part of their community and be active. Mm-hmm. And hopefully they can be examples for the rest of us to go out and meet one another and communicate and all that good stuff. I know for me, a big community that I feel a part of, like Justin was mentioned before, is my favorite band.
Yes.
They have a fan club online. It's got like 10,000 people in it, but there's only a certain amount of people that are active. And, I comment on there and I talk to people. And when I was out in Colorado, I met up with friends of mine. I had met him through the fan club 8 years ago at a show in Colorado at Red Rocks. And he drove me from the airport to the show. And him and I have been tight and good friends ever since. When I've traveled and I've been in that part of the country, I've been able to stay with him when they announce shows and just news. We're always in contact with one another and making plans.
I find it's crazy though. It's like to meet like I mean, obviously there's like dating apps, right? You go, yeah, like, but like then there's like to meet a guy and go out, but it's like through a fan club, so it's like it's not like an app, like so it's like
to meet a new friend,
not like Grinder, like that, But it's just like it's I don't know. I think that's kind of cool because it's like it's similar interests, and you just might be in there, and it's like I'm such a fan, I'm going to this anyway. And if you are that member of the fan club, it's like, let me check and just see if anyone, you go out, get a beer with somebody, end up meeting a group of people, and you're like, oh, this is. You already know you have similarities, so you're already off to a better start than just bumping into someone on the street.
That community, they do organize events around like the big shows. So when I was down in Louisville and those shows had been canceled, there was already a plan for like a after concert meetup. But since that concert was canceled, they said everyone come at like 8:00, and they started a concert video of the band. And it was, there was a lot of people there hanging.
How many people do you think?
150.
Oh, that's a solid. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, there was a lot, and that was just the people that were there. I mean, a lot of people had canceled plans to go.
Yeah,
right.
So
it's to
really
have
cool.
150 people go and like pretty much shut down a bar, and and have like the televised,
it was
recaps. Cool.
And you'll find this funny. So I like to join these band fan clubs on Facebook because you find out news, you can find tickets, information. It's cool. I've seen it in 2 different groups where an offshoot has started for the singles, people that are single that like the band to try to like meet one another.
Wow.
And everyone's just like, because someone will be like, oh, I love this song. Makes me think of, like wishing I was in a relationship. Someone goes, oh, I feel the same way. And then someone goes, we need to start, a group for all the single people. And then they take that conversation elsewhere. But I've seen that.
That's funny.
Yeah, it is. So I don't know if it makes connections for folks, but it's pretty funny stuff.
Good stuff.
Any communities you've been a part of that you regret?
Oh God. Here's my thing. This is it. As much as you have shitty times, you might have had a rough patch. That's time that you spent. You're not getting it back. You have to move on, and you have to take away whatever good you can out of it, and take a life lesson out of it. And or what? Maybe like that whole experience was bad, but there was one person who was also going through that experience who's like, this sucks. You know what I mean? But you had something to relate to, so you made a friend through it. Whatever. There's always something you can find good in everything.
That's true. There is something good in everything. Sometimes you have to wait a little time to see it. Mm-hmm. And then you'll say, I'm so glad that happened. That's true. That's a very...
Yeah, I don't know of any communities that I've been a part of that I feel like any type of regret. I agree with you. Even the bad times, you learn from that.
Right.
But a community that I met and did not like is traveling down in Texas, stayed at this campground.
Oh, yeah.
And got some weird, bad vibes, but, it's all right. We're just going to tent for the night.
Right.
So went into the city of Austin, got some food, and my buddy and I were on the road trip. We went back to the campground. It was like 30 minutes outside the city, and there was like a community fire pit. Yeah, I didn't even think of community, but yeah. So we walk over because we're going to charge our phones and just kind of hang out. It's 2 guys, and we're talking, and they're drinking beer and maybe smoking a little pot, but it's people just having a conversation by a fire,
smoking that loud.
Nothing crazy. Yes, so loud. But as they got more comfortable and probably less sober, they start talking about their neo-Nazi memorabilia.
Oh.
And how they have like
they would have killed me right there. I would have been like, yeah, fuck Hitler, and I'd be dead. You know what I mean?
And the one guy's talking about how they were trying to be like big tough guys, but then they were talking about how they had gone to a Renaissance fair, which there's nothing wrong with those, but that I mean, unless you're the knight, that's not like a masculine activity per se.
Well, hold up. They probably went there for the food.
Yeah,
possibly.
It's pretty good.
They get a turkey drum, the mashed potatoes.
But this guy's talking about how he had his kid in a Hitler youth hat at this Renaissance fair.
Oh.
It's like the worst dress up ever, Fran.
I know.
And people like commenting, like, what are you doing? Like, and the more they talked, they're talking about the tattoos they have. And they kept talking about how they watch out for their community and how they watch out for one another. And it was, I mean, thankfully, I was not a threat to them.
Yeah.
And they were like, we're not trying to brag. Like, we're just telling you how life is around here. They were very much trying to brag. And
They're looking at you, they're like, you Hispanic? You Hispanic? You look a little Mexican.
Yeah. And I don't know how many times they just said, yep, okay.
Yeah.
Because
I'd
in that
yes my way
situation,
right to the car. Right to the car. I'd be, yep.
in
Nice
that
meeting you.
situation, you know, people online be like, you got to stick up. It's no, like you are, prior to them talking about how they were Nazis, they were talking about how they like to blow stuff up, like for fun.
That's
which
really
like sounded kind of cool, but then you hear like their beliefs on other things. You're like, I hope you don't mix these.
Like,
two
these
things.
guys cool. They drink beer and they blow, and then you start listening. Like, okay, like I need to leave. You know, it gets worse and worse.
And it was, it was alarming.
It is.
And I remember like the one guy was dating the other guy's sister who was in jail and kept calling.
She was in jail.
Yeah, who was in jail, and she kept calling him to like give me more money, bail me out, and
it's a show.
And they kept talking about how much they like do for other people, but then they didn't have jobs, they had like no income, whatever. Like it's like, how do you even like pay taxes to support your community?
They don't
like,
pay taxes.
It was
IRS is just like leave them. We're not going over there.
It was, and I'll tell you what. Just to finish that up. When I spoke to people afterwards and told them about meeting these neo-Nazis,
right?
A lot of people just up here, they laughed it off, which I would have to explain to them. No, you don't understand.
No.
These people are out there.
I know.
And you see this stuff happen on the news and you're, it's made up. That doesn't really happen. They try to downplay it.
Yeah.
These folks are out there.
Yeah.
And they believe in their community and their community of beliefs and what they're doing.
Yes.
And it is scary. And I remember I called my aunt the following morning because I told these guys, I was like, yeah, like my air conditioner in my truck or my car's kind of messed up. They're like, oh, we'll look at it tomorrow morning. I was like, all right, cool. And then I got to know how they were. I was like, I will sweat to California and back. I'm not staying here a minute longer.
Yeah.
But I called my aunt the following morning and she was, oh my God, Kevin. Oh my God. Are you? And she understood, the gravity of it.
It is great. Yes.
And
it was very great.
It was, I'm glad I had that experience because it makes me a better person, more well-rounded.
Yeah.
So as a kid, I mean, up here in like the Northeast, we would joke about the term neo-Nazi because it meant kind of,
it was very light.
Yeah. Well, it was
whatever.
It was almost like they didn't exist. Yeah. Oh, what are you, a neo-Nazi? Like it was almost like it wasn't real.
Yeah.
After I met these people, and this has been 5 years, I haven't made that type of joke at all because they are out there.
I mean, Kevin, first of all, what kind of car were you driving at the time?
Subaru Legacy.
Subaru. See, it's a Japanese car. You don't leave a Japanese car with a bunch of Germans. Korean. If you had a BMW, I'd have been okay doing some mechanical work. The Germans, they're good engineers. But yeah.
All right. So one final part of that story is a week or two later, I'm in California and hanging out with a friend and one of her coworkers. And her coworker was this very nice African American girl, and telling her about the trip. She goes,
black chick.
I want to do what you're doing. I was just like, but I was still so like in shock from it. I was like, you have to be careful. There are people out there that are not good. And it's not that I didn't want her to travel and experience the world like that.
Right.
But I don't want her to stay at this campground in Texas and meet the people that I had to meet because they would not be welcoming.
I know.
So it's important that that's a sign that you're in a bad community, Fran.
That's very bad.
Nazis.
Well, and now that we're talking about this, we probably don't have time to talk about this. I don't know how long this one is at this point.
We're at a point where we want to clip. We're trying to keep them shorter. And we're going to be longer.
Well, you know what? I love looking.
I don't even know if I hit the camera on.
I love looking at how everything has evolved in life. And I find it so interesting think about safety in numbers for animal life. Look at the fish that are all the same and how they swim together. Mm-hmm. The birds that are all the same, they hang together. The birds of the feather, yeah. Okay, but that people tend to just hang with the people that sort of look like them.
Mm-hmm.
People who have white skin and blue eyes and blonde hair, they are together. Then people who are different shades hang together. And is it coming from that it is safety in numbers from the beginning, from evolution?
I think it's also like there's a sense of, I guess, where you come up. Like where we grew up, most of my family's white.
Yes,
I have one
right.
uncle who married, a black chick a few years ago. But it's just, and then like, I think it's just where you live too. And like, I like when I go to New York City and it's
I
all
do
mixed.
too. Don't you love it?
Yeah.
I love it that we are all different. I love it.
I like the culture changes and you learn so much. And I think the sense of humor too. I love the sense of humor is different. And like,
I love it.
I studied, anthropology. I love that diversity. And even as a kid, growing up in Sussex County was not a lot of diversity, but I go with my uncle in Bergen County, and walking into a 7-Eleven was like a cultural experience for me, as like an early teen.
Uh-huh.
But I think it's important that it's so cool to have diversity and a mixed community coming together to celebrate. But it's also cool when you have your community of people that look like you and you have that whatever cultural ties. Think about the parades and what's bigger, the St. Patrick's Day parade or like the Puerto Rican Day parade in New York City? Both of those
fabulous.
I'll go to both
different
if I know someone going to them. You know what I mean? That's my
fabulous. They're fabulous.
It's really cool that that folks have that, and it's so important that and you just have to be open-minded to both.
Yes. Then that makes you a citizen of the planet.
Justin, anything else to add?
Citizen of the planet's pretty good.
Fran, anything else to add?
No, that's it.
All right, folks. Welcome again to the Fran community.
But did we have any mail or anything? Or?
No mail.
No mail.
We had the mailbag last episode, so we'll let it refill a little bit.
Okay.
But the Fran community, reach out to us. We're on Instagram, Tea with Fran podcast on Instagram.
Good.
We're on YouTube, Tea with Fran podcast.
Blah, blah, blah.
And then teawithfranmail@gmail.com. Sense of community is the sense of self.
Yes.
We are the global community.
All right.
Till next time.
We're going interstellar.
I love it.
All right. We're going to do just a little bonus onto the end of this community episode because we have someone, a huge supporter of the podcast.
Yes.
We have Sarah. Sarah, say hello.
Hello. I'm Sarah.
You don't have to whisper. Fran can whisper. You don't whisper. You have to talk loud.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
You were living in Alaska. I hear it's wonderful. And you found different types of communities up there.
Yes.
Can you speak to what the communities in Alaska were like in towns like McCarthy, Valdez, even the greater state of Alaska? Like what did you find that maybe you didn't ever find here in New Jersey?
So I lived it was rural Alaska, so not any big cities. And so the communities are very small. And I feel the smaller community is obviously everybody knows each other and everybody knows each other more in depth than just like a surface level.
Right.
And so everybody takes care of each other. And every time I felt so welcomed into the community and also like just coming over for dinner and just looking out for you long term and wanting you to build space here, like welcome you into the community and wanting you to stay in the community. So that's kind of how I felt. In busier areas when there's more people, a lot of people come and go and it's kind of harder to, I don't know, what the smaller the community is, I feel like the more everybody really, really looks out for each other and takes care of one another.
That's a good point.
Checks in on everybody and I don't know.
So you felt like you belonged when you first arrived?
Yes. As soon as I got there, people were like, you should live here, like stay here. We want to look after you, make you feel comfortable, make you dinner. Everybody taught me little things like, this is where you go best grocery shopping and like little things like that. But just looking out for my well-being and happiness and inviting me to go places like immediately bringing me in as family and a friend. And
why did you go to Alaska?
I've always wanted to go to Alaska ever since I was a little girl. I'd like read books and just the concept of wilderness was something that was always I was so interested in, just like the grandeur of like mountains and endless land that I don't know, you can get lost in, not like really lost, but lost in a good way.
Yes.
Like,
yeah. Well, what about the darkness that takes place during winter? And it's dark for so long.
There's like a Charlie Murphy.
Yeah.
There's going to be an echo in the back.
Were you there for the winter?
I was, yeah. So I say 2 lovely summers with 1 winter sandwiched in between. The snow is absolutely breathtaking, the way it blankets everything and it insulates, so it feels warmer when there's a lot of snow. Valdez is the snowiest sea level city in the world.
Oh, I didn't know.
So yeah, that's pretty cool.
And doing my research, is it true that this past winter was one of the snowiest on records?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. So it was a hard winter for a lot of people, and in the community, it affects the whole community. So when a lot of people are having a hard time, everybody kind of feels it. It kind of trickles through the community. But that's just, everybody tries to be there for one another even more. More check-ins, we should get together more often, more dinners, just kind of sticking together, and also getting outside and playing outside when you can and when it's safe is the best way to kind of like balance the darkness. So, stick a headlamp on and get out and play outside with people that you trust and care about, and you can safely play outside. And just to kind of still connect with the earth. The night sky in the winter is incredible.
I bet the night sky.
So the stars and the aurora borealis.
Oh, yes.
Just, it's beautiful in different ways, but it definitely is hard. There's no doubt that it's absolutely hard.
I think 2 points that you can pull from that is the importance of community in difficult times.
Yes.
And how you have to lean on one another, be open to leaning on one another. Like you've always said, ask people for help. And then this way you're able to help others.
Yes.
But also, she mentioned dinner. And we had the whole episode about food and that community thing of sharing food and meals, and how wonderful it is to connect with others over something you're eating.
When you had these group dinners, did everybody bring something? Is that how it worked? Or was it somebody who was a hunter and had, brought in the deer or whatever it is, and then they cooked? I don't know what.
I was a vegetarian for 15 years before I moved to Alaska, and within 1 month of living in Alaska, I ate moose and bear and elk. And so it's kind of like, I guess it could be different. There are a lot of potluck styles, like everybody brings whatever they have. But I went out there by myself. So a lot of times there's just people inviting me into their homes to have dinner with them. So I wouldn't really have anything to bring, but people would just bring stories and tell us about your journey and what do you want to do here and where do you want to go and things like that. So just bring yourself and enjoy. And I didn't say one word that I was a vegetarian. I ate my plate, whatever was given to me, I ate it. And I was like, this is really good.
What were your techniques of getting involved in the community? Was it just through work? Was it through school? Is that the main avenues you used?
Yeah, definitely work and school. And it kind of felt effortless, especially there. Like I was just a new bright-eyed, person to meet, like a new friend. So it felt kind of effortless to be welcomed into the community, besides just kind of having a job and meeting people that way. But even like walking down the street, especially in Valdez, it's a little walking community. You can walk all the way across the town. It's like a mile long. It felt very effortless, but work and school definitely were built very solid foundations, and then met people kind of branched out through there.
I read online that you were working for the Parks and Rec department. Is that true?
Yes.
And then they had a lot of programs to bring the community together?
Yes, absolutely. So it's kind of funny because in the summertime, the programs aren't as popular because of that. There's so much to do in the summer. So people are kind of branched out. They're all over the state. They're maybe even traveling. It's a lot easier to travel in the summer, but in the winter, all of the programs that we had were just like packed every single time, and people really, really came together. But the Parks and Rec department does an absolutely wonderful job of bringing the community together and also like having things for the community to do and like wonderful facilities and things like that.
And that's why it's nice to have a town that, or a community, a city that focuses and makes it so easy to bring folks together.
Yes.
Well, thank you for sharing. Fran, do you have any other questions about Alaska and the community? Sarah, is there anything you'd like to add?
I don't think so.
No?
Well, we're glad you're back in New Jersey.
Yes.
Welcome back to the Fran community.
I'm happy to be here.
Welcome.
I'm no longer on the podcast.
No, thank you. Yeah, I think folks are going to find that interesting to hear just
Yes.
what it was like to go up to Alaska.
Make us all want to go.